Hi guys, JT here, and today I'll be bringing you some information on the Humble Bundle Focus Entertainment Legends and Visions of July 2022 to help you answer the question, should you buy it? If you want to know more about game deals, then feel free to like this video and subscribe to my channel. So let's get into it. At number 1, we have Hood, Outlaws and Legends, an online multiplayer game where you play as Robin Hood and his gang of thieves. Your job is to work together with your gang of thieves to sneak into a heavily fortified location to steal the treasure and escape. But first you have to find the key and the vault, which is randomized every match you play. It doesn't end there though. This is also an online PvP game, meaning there's an opposing team of Robin Hood and his gang of thieves looking for the same key and the same vault, stealing the same treasure and then escaping. What's supposed to be intriguing with this game where they blend PvE and PvP together usually becomes an all-out brawl at the escape point. Sure, this gives some depth to the experience and it makes sense in some respects where two rival gangs end up killing each other for the same treasure. But the final gameplay sequence when you're winching the treasure to escape becoming very exploitable, the player population died down quite quickly. It would have been a far better game if it is purely a PvE heist game. Also, with a low player count, finding a game can be difficult sometimes. However, if you want to experience this unique blend of PvE and PvP, or you want to live out your dreams of being Robin Hood, then this game is good to try for cheap through this bundle. And hopefully with more of you buying it, there will be an active online community. At number 2, we have Vampyr, an RPG game centered around a field medic, aka you, who specialize in blood, who has just returned from the battlefields of World War I to a Spanish flu-ridden London. The twist is, you were mysteriously turned into a vampire. So you go on a quest, helping people in need in London as a good doctor should, while trying to find answers to the mysteries of your vampiric affliction while trying to stave off from killing and drinking the blood of some innocent NPC for the sweet, bloody experience points. Do expect a lot of exploration, going on plenty of quests, and talking to NPCs with dialogue choices, with the opportunity to totally murder them and sucking their blood for XP. The catch about this system is that the more you help an NPC, the sweeter their blood becomes. So if you kill them and drink their blood, you get a whole bunch of XP. Which brings this dilemma of, now that your blood has been primed to quench my thirst for blood, do I kill you and drink it, or do I just go on and do more chores for you? However, killing too many NPCs and drinking their blood does change the world quite a bit, as they may be more important than you think to the story. So you may be missing out on later side quests and XP. Be forewarned though that the combat in this game isn't the best, but if you're into exploring and being totally immersed in Spanish flu-ridden London, while trying to decide if you should spare the lives of the innocent or murder them for their blood without too much care for the underwhelming combat, then this game is a good pick.
You're suffering from shock.
At number 3, we have Bound by Blood, an action RPG where you get to choose between being a human or a demon, while slashing your way through monsters with a variety of weapons. The highlight of this game is definitely the combat, crafting, and a variety of skill trees that you can upgrade. Moreover, there's plenty of loot to be collected, and quests to be undertaken. Choices that you make in-game also affects the way you play. If you choose to be a total jerk, you'll start growing demon horns and your outward appearance changes to a more demonic look. Another consequence of this is that you can't wear any helmets with your horns on your head, so there's less protection on your head. But the upside of siding with the dark side is that you get to access more magical demonic powers. The main complaint that I keep hearing about this game is the uninteresting dialogue and characters, and some people have issues with the main character being a bit of an asshole. This game is not for everyone, but if you're into your Dragon Age and Witchers but don't mind your lower budget, then this game isn't a bad choice. At number 4, we have The Surge, a Souls-like adventure game with a sci-fi setting. You play as Warren, a man who is starting his job at Creo, a mega corporation promising to better the lives of humanity. Naturally, things quickly turn to custard as you find out that most of its employees are either dead or turned into crazy psycho killers. Furthermore, a mechanical exosuit has been welded onto you and you are to uncover the mysteries of the death and destruction that has plagued Creo. Being a Souls-like, your movements and attacks and dodges need to be precise, and do expect to die a lot. What I like about this game though is you get to cut the limbs off your enemies and loot the equipment off them, and then using it for yourself against other enemies. And this goes for weapons and armor parts, so it really satisfies my need to hoard and complete gear sets. My complaint about this game is its dark and mostly bland environment. The environment is always industrial and dark, with the occasional sand, but mostly just dark corridors of enemies screaming nonsense at you, and they're literally nonsense, like "Argh!" The DLC, on the other hand, brings much needed color to the environment with some varied enemy types too, so if you get this game, definitely get the DLC. However, I still enjoy my time with The Surge. It has a decent story about a greedy corporate who uses a memorable NPC that has a Steve Jobs vibe-like personality to gain support for a project to supposedly save the planet. With a combat and loot system that's satisfying, I would recommend this game. At number 5, we have The Surge 2. The sequel to The Surge and obviously another Souls-like adventure. However, this time you control a different character, and the story is a follow-up to the events of The Surge, which I won't spoil, but you pretty much experience the immediate after effects of what Warren has done in the previous game. I definitely enjoyed my time in The Surge 2 more than the first one, as it has been refined quite a bit from the first game. The combat feels more fluid and fast-paced, the armors and weapons that you collect can look way more cooler than the first game. Bosses and enemy designs look way better, and the environment is more varied as you explore a city instead of an industrial complex. Basically, a total improvement from the first game. It is still a Souls-like, so even with its more fluid combat, it is still challenging, and cutting limbs of enemies and robbing them of their tools and equipment still feels mightily satisfying. The bosses in this game have a lot more personality too compared to the first game, and fighting them is a blast. The only underwhelming boss is actually the final boss, especially once you've upgraded yourself. My goodness, was he a pushover. The Surge 1 and 2 are definitely worth a playthrough, and I would highly recommend these two games if you're into Souls-like, and if you want to satisfy your craving to collect and hoard gear. At number 6, we have MudRunner. A surprisingly enjoyable driving simulator where you play as a truck driver, needing to deliver materials from point A to point B. However, true to its name, the terrains that you'll be driving through is, well, mud. In fact, this game has something called real-time mud, where the muddy terrains react to the environments at any given time, either wet and rainy or dry, and also reacts to how many times you've driven on it together with the weight of your load on the truck, creating a driving simulator unlike anything before it. If you think driving through a muddy terrain is easy the first time, the next time you come through the same path, your experience will be vastly different. In addition, the environment makes a whole lot of difference to each of your delivery too, like delivering at night reduces your visibility significantly, bringing more realism to the experience. The game is also partly a resource management game where, true to life, you have to look out for your fuel gauge and plan your route accordingly. Trudging through mud will take up more of your fuel, so be sure to plan a fuel stop along the way. If you want to take a break from your corporate job for a while and experience what it's like to be an off-road truck driver, then I would recommend this game. You'll find that it is more difficult than you think, and you'll come to appreciate real truck drivers in the world, so show them some respect on the road. At number 7, we have the Technomancer, an action RPG game that is very similar to Bound by Blood mentioned earlier. You play as a Technomancer, a religious group of people imbued with the power of electricity via genetic engineering, and you are in Mars. The story and characters are highly forgettable with bad voice acting and story that you won't come to care for, which is a huge shame for an RPG game. The environment, although the life of Mars is fleshed out, the general environment is quite bland. However, the real highlight of this game is its combat and upgrade system. Similarly to Bound by Blood, the combat feels fluid, being able to switch combat classes on the fly, and upgrading your weapons can be quite addictive. If you enjoyed Bound by Blood, then you will probably enjoy this. If not, it's an okay experience. Similarly to Bound by Blood, it is an RPG experience that is bogged down by budget constraints, but still something worth trying if you like Western RPG. All in all, I think this is an alright bundle. I mean, it isn't the best, but Vampyr, Surge 1 and 2, and the MudRunner definitely stand out compared to the likes of the other 3 games. What do you think of this bundle? I would love to know in the comments below. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video.